Well, this one's for the young and the young at heart. So we've got a decent amount of young listeners and viewers here on the Jeff Capusta podcast. And many of you, you've got sons and daughters, and this would be a great one to right now hit share, text it to them, because one of the things that means a lot to me in my role as a pastor, a church leader, is that we're constantly raising up a younger generation. I think one of the reasons that a lot of churches, and you could say even businesses and organizations, begin to dwindle in their effectiveness is because they stop reaching a younger generation. And I just know as a church, I want to keep getting younger. I look at myself in the mirror and I'm getting older. And so we need to keep getting younger. And one of the things that we do at the church that I lead is we have a program called for apprentices. And these are young college-age leaders that we just see leadership in them. And so we invite them into this apprentice program, and they become key parts of our organization. And so recently we graduated a class of apprentices, and I shared a few thoughts with them at graduation. And I thought, here's what I'd love to share. For those of you that are young leaders, whether you're a part of this program or not, here's a few things that I wish I could sit down over a cup of coffee and just share with you. You know, there's a story in the Bible where there's a boy named Samuel and there's a priest named Eli. And I'll give you this story real quick, and then I'll explain where I'm going with this and kind of how I see this apply to us today. We're told that one night Eli, whose eyes were becoming so weak that he could barely see. This means he's old. My man is he's probably got a gray beard like I have right now. And so he's laying down, and we're told that the lamp of God had not yet gone out, which means that he's still in leadership, but Samuel was lying down in the house of the Lord, and the Lord calls to Samuel. Okay, Samuel's a young boy, and Samuel hears this call, and Samuel answers, "Here I am," and he runs to Eli, and he says, "Here I am, you called." And Eli says, "I didn't call you, go back, lie down." So he goes back and he lies down. And again, the Lord called Samuel, and Samuel got up and he went to Eli, and he said, "Here I am, you called me." "My son," Eli said, "I didn't call you, go back and lie down." Now, Samuel didn't yet know the Lord, okay, and this is important. He's growing in his knowledge and understanding of the Lord. The word of the Lord had not yet been revealed to him. And then verse 8, a third time the Lord called Samuel, and Samuel got up and he went to Eli and he said, "Here I am, you called me." And Eli realized the Lord was calling the boy. So Eli told Samuel, "Go and lie down, and if he calls you, say, 'Speak, Lord, your servant is listening.'" So Samuel went, he lay down in his place, and the Lord came and stood there calling, as he did other times, "Samuel, Samuel." And here's my point. The younger generation is going to hear the Lord in ways that the older generation cannot. And I realize I've been walking with the Lord almost my entire life, and I've been leading in a certain way. And nothing wrong with the way I've been leading, but there are younger leaders, and there are young people in your organization that are going to lead different, and they're going to hear different. And Samuel heard the Lord, but he didn't know what to do with it. And I think organizationally, we've got to be the kind of place where we can empower our younger leaders to hear from the Lord and to lead. Now, here's the catch. Samuel didn't know it was the Lord, and he didn't know what to do when the Lord spoke. So he needed an older leader to mentor him. And so if we want our organizations to thrive, we've got to continue to let younger leaders hear from the Lord, present ideas, and lead, and us older dogs have got to be able to help them discern what to do with it. And so our apprentice program allows us to empower younger leaders, and they're literally game changers in our church. And so as I was sharing with them at their graduation, I said to them this. I said, let me give you 3 thoughts as you move forward. Some of these apprentices feel called towards ministry. Some feel called in other areas. I think this works regardless of the direction that you're called. I said, let me give you 3 thoughts just as you go. Here's thought number 1. Experience is the best educator. Experience is the best educator. Now, I'm not saying don't go to college. I'm not saying don't invest in that. For me, I care more about the experience that somebody has than the education that they've received. And I think that's true in our world nowadays. I'm not going to be the guy that says you don't need to go get a college degree. I think there are certain things. If you're going to do some like surgery, you need a degree. You got to go through all that. But there are some things where you just got to be willing to get the experience. You know, step in as an intern or an apprentice and learn. I look at the program that we run. I mean, these are young leaders that we put them through what's called Communicators Crash Course, where they have to deliver messages and they learn to articulate and they get better at casting vision. They're given opportunities to lead our church through different initiatives. It might be through our worship department. It might be through our social media department. Anyway, it's that experience. It's the best educator. Just continue to get experience. Hey everyone, real quick. In some of the initial episodes, you may hear me refer to the podcast as the Jeff Kapusta Podcast or the Jeff Kapusta Leadership Podcast. After recording the first few episodes, we realized it made more sense to keep consistent with the theme of Fully Alive and the book that I recently released called Fully Alive, which you can get in the description or the show notes. I just want to make sure you knew that you're not imagining things. It was us making a change. Well, having said that, let's get back to the episode. The second thing that I said to him is this: your voice matters. Your voice matters. When we stop listening to the voice of the younger generation, we might as well just lock the door and shut her down. I want our younger generation to know that you matter, your voice matters, your ideas matter. I want to create space for that. So please speak up. Please, you're not the church of tomorrow, you're the church of today. That's what we believe. And then here's the third thing I said, is that you have no idea where your yes will take you. You were part of this program because of a yes. Can I be honest with you? I am filming a podcast today because I had no idea where my yes would take me. I had no idea that when I said yes to the Lord to go into ministry, that I would then serve at a summer camp with young kids. I had no idea that yes was going to lead to an opportunity to be a youth pastor at a small town in Albemarle, North Carolina. I had no idea that yes was going to open the door for me to come on staff at a contemporary cutting-edge church in the Raleigh area. No idea that yes was going to put me at a conference where they talk about church planting. No idea that a yes to planting a church would lead to what we're doing now, to where I'm literally sitting here with multiple locations, leading an incredible team, seeing thousands of lives impacted, filming a podcast simply because I said yes. And I want young leaders to know you have no idea where your yes will take you. It might be an invitation to go on a missions trip. Say yes. It might be an opportunity to grow in your leadership. Say yes, because you have no idea where your yes will take you. Last thing I'll leave you with is this. 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 12 says this. It's Paul talking to his son Timothy in the faith, and he says, "Don't let anyone look down on you because you're young, but set an example for the believers in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, and in purity." Young leaders, I'm looking to you. I want your ideas. I want you on the platform. I want you leading teams. I want you to be the new hires. I want you to set the example. And I believe that's a biblical model. So don't let anyone look down on you. You level up and take charge. Us old guys are looking for your leadership, and we want it. So my young leaders, you don't have to wait till you're my age to step into it. Step into it now. God's calling you. You're gifted for it. Drop over to my Instagram at Jeff Kapusta. Drop a comment there on that post. I want to know, what are the dreams in your heart? What do you feel God's calling you to do? I want to help make that happen.